Okay, is it just my VB or does anyone else's WRX, for that matter, with a wing on it, just perpetually leak, like right under here, and especially like right here, just underneath the duckbill, underneath the wing. It has the weather stripping, but for some reason, perpetually, always, it will be leaking water after it rains or after I wash it for the next couple hours underneath here and underneath the duckbill. Is that just mine, or does that happen to you guys too? Because it's kind of annoying to dry, especially in the sun, because it'll just basically get a big old water spot right there, and I have to constantly dry it every hour or two. But now she's all clean. So, we just got her nice and cleaned up, and being a black car, it's gonna stay clean for about 5 minutes, but that's besides the point. I wanted to talk a little bit more about this car, and it's been gone from the channel for like 4 months. I had a few videos planned out that I really wanted to film, and I wasn't able to because this car has a new engine, a new block in it. And the reason for that is because the old one, it blew. When I say blew, I mean there was oil everywhere. Cylinders 2 and 4 completely locked up, and the turbo blew. So that's actually what caused it. The turbo blew, sending oil and metal fragments into the block, and when going into neutral, the engine was still spinning and RPM was still idling, which ended up locking up the engine entirely. Now, the reason for that is one of the oil cooler lines got burned through, thus letting no oil get to the turbo and the engine block, and then subsequently blowing up the car. There's a little bit more details about it, and I am going to work on getting a more detailed video once I do continue to take apart the block. I will give you updates on the exact reason. That's kind of just a rough idea, but for the most part, that is what happened. Now, as you can tell, obviously the car is working. I'm driving it. I'm very excited to be back in this vehicle, and we do have a cob access port. We are tuned, and we do have the Remark axle backs now, as well as a non-resonated intermediate pipe. So there are a few goodies that we did add on since it blowing up. Now, the future of this vehicle has changed a lot. So before this blew, before the $6,000 mistake, because it wasn't covered by warranty, obviously, before that mistake, I had planned to get coilovers, rims and tires, and do the normal modifications. But of course, I'm out $6,000 and I don't have the funds to do that anymore. I wish I did. But I do have a new block. The block has 500 miles on it. One of my Facebook groups, I posted that I needed a block, and I was lucky enough to get a block as well as have it installed for the most part, because as much as I love these vehicles, I don't know how to install a block, and I definitely don't have the means to. Don't have an engine pooler. I definitely don't have the space to do it since I live in an apartment, and it was a blessing to be able to have someone install it and check it and definitely make sure it's all good before I actually get back into it and drive it. And so far I've been driving it for about a week, 2 weeks. I did my own break-in period of 1,000 miles, so now the block itself has around 1,500 miles on it. So it's a very, very new block, and I'm very happy about that. So new spark plugs, ignition coils, all of that stuff. So I just hit 1,000 miles. I did an oil change. The oil looks great. There's no metal shavings in it. It looks extremely clean, and we got in some nice good old 5W30 into it. So we were all good on that. With the cob access port, I've been able to monitor my feedback knock, AFR ratios, dynamic advance multiplier, DAM, as well as the fine knock learn. And now that I just hit 1,000, I'm at like 1,150. And if you look at my Instagram or my previous YouTube shorts, you're gonna know that I ripped it a little bit. I did my first major pull in it from first to third gear, wide open throttle, and everything held stable. My feedback knock, there was none. There was no fine knock learning. The dam stayed at 1 and everything was perfect. So I'm currently on a D-Man Perrin OTS tune. Now, I bought that tune in regards to the Perrin intake, even though you don't specifically need a tune for the Perrin intake. But since I have an axle back as well as a few other things done to this, I definitely wanted it to be tuned. I didn't want to run it stock just to be safe. I also did want to be able to push 19 pounds of boost, which is very, very nice and wakes it up a lot. So here we are now. I blew it, I tuned it, we fixed it, and we're here. Perfectly good. Now, the future of this vehicle. I still want to do everything I talked about. I still want to get coilovers, I still want to get rims and tires, and I definitely want to get a custom tune, either from D-Man or from Clark Tuning. Anthony and Clark are amazing tuners, and I trust both of them. And I do genuinely trust this OTS tune. If you guys have ever used it, let me know what you think of it. But it's keeping the vehicle safe. 19 pounds of boost is definitely enough boost, especially from this stock turbo, and the fact that I daily drive it, it handles amazing. So I definitely do think I want to keep it around that 20 to maybe 21 pounds of boost stock on the stock turbo. I know one of my friends, Ben Austin, also known as B Swayze, he is here on YouTube. He's pushing around 22 pounds of boost, and he's obviously a lot more modified than me. Front mount intercooler, charge pipe, all of that good stuff. He is definitely far from stock, kind of like my block. I'm more of that OEM plus and not even full bolt-ons yet. So that's where we are. I'm either thinking about going Clark tuning or D-Man tuning. If you guys have used either one of them, let me know which one you like more. So I'm really excited about that. But this car, I really want to get it built out to how I want it. There was this one photo, I'll throw it up right now. It has like the box on top of it, which I want to put fishing rods in because I have them right here. And I'd rather not have them in the car because when my wife is sitting there, they get in the way and it's kind of annoying to mess around with. But I really want to keep this car on the channel, and that's kind of where it's been. Just giving you an update. It's been in the shop and it's been being worked on. So that's why it's been gone from this channel for almost 2-3 months. And she is alive and she is back, and I absolutely love this car. And let me preface, the fact that it blew has nothing to do with Subaru being bad. It was my fault. I just overlooked something, and it happened. You know, you can't be mad at it. As much as I want to be mad, it's my fault. It's nothing that Subaru did. It's nothing that modifying it did. They're still amazing cars, and it's just, you know, you live and you learn. You live and you learn. I have a brand new motor, and I know exactly how to care for these vehicles, and I'm very excited that I have it back. So I love this car. I'm gonna keep working on it, and it's definitely gonna be more on this channel. So I hope you guys stick around because this thing is definitely gonna stay here on the channel. With this Remark axle back, you definitely do get a lot more burbles or pops, I guess. And I don't know if you can hear it, but you can definitely hear it. I'll probably put in some sound clips. Coming from the NVIDIA Q300, it is a whole lot louder. The cold starts, the WRX in general, even the VA WRXs, the cold starts are violent. I mean, violent cold starts. And you can tune them out to where they tone down a little bit earlier. But they idle at like 2,500 RPMs. And I mean, the whole neighborhood knows that you started your car. It's crazy. And with the NVIDIA Q300, it's a big muffler. It was loud. And then I put basically a straight pipe, but basically straight piped all the way back. It's very loud. It's a lot louder than you would think just a turboed 4-cylinder would sound. It does sound good. Definitely sounds really good, but I still want to dial in my exhaust sound because there is still a little bit of rasp that I want to get rid of. So I'm not exactly sure how I'll go about that. I'm probably going to do an intermediate pipe, a resonated intermediate pipe, as well as the J pipe. We're going to do a catted J pipe. I don't want to go catless. So that's something I wanted to talk about really quick. What Krispy Kreme, by the way, picking them up. But so a catted versus a catless downpipe. One, I daily drive this car and I drive it with my wife all the time, and she's not a car girl. She loves this car, but she doesn't love it for the reasons that I love it. And that being said, having a catless downpipe, you're gonna get a lot more exhaust fumes in your cabin, which is gonna suck. But with a catted downpipe, we'll still get the power gains, the sound, and no fumes coming into the cabin. Thank you. Secured. These are amazing. Do you guys like Krispy Kreme? Is it better than Dunkin' Donuts? 100% better than Dunkin' Donuts, what I'm saying. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you do subscribe, make sure you get those notifications on. We do have some big projects coming for this WRX. I have a lot of things that I'm wanting to do to it, as well as a lot of things that I am doing to it as of now. Even right now, while this video is releasing, we're still getting work done on this car. I love this car. I can't wait for it to make a comeback on this channel, as well as be even faster and more reliable, because that's very important as well. So I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and if you guys have any suggestions on what I should do to this car, especially in terms of going with D-Man, Clark tuning, or any of the other ones, please do let me know. And if you have any tips, tricks, or anything you want to see done to the car, just leave a comment down below. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, peace, God bless y'all, and I'll see you in the next one.